curious, what were the areas of focus for this cycle when it came to addressing needs on the defensive side?
Well, I think the biggest thing we try to do is get the very best players that were available to us. It wasn't necessarily one position group over another. It was the very best players possible in the program, and I think we did that. We signed some real top-notch guys that are going to be huge assets to us moving forward in the future. We still have a couple that we may sign in the next little bit, and then you never know. Like with transfer portal and things that come up, there might be even more additionals later. But we feel good about the roster moving forward, and we feel good about these additions really making us stronger.
I wanted to ask you about some, an individual person on the class. Braxton Lindsay, how heated of a recruiting battle was it, going up against a handful of SEC teams, and what type of player are you getting when he arrives on campus?
Well, he's definitely one of my favorite guys we've recruited in the last couple of years. Very athletic, very physical. Quite frankly, could play on both sides of the ball. He's a great tight end. He could be a linebacker. He could be a defensive end. His recruiting was very hot, I guess is the way you'd put it. There were a lot of great teams that were trying to get him. Him being a member of the church, I think, was a big deal, but just also, and more than anything, just the feel he had when he was on campus and to the coaches, I think was a big deal. Coach Papinga did a phenomenal job recruiting him, and he will be a huge asset to our program.
Next question from Brandon Gurney.
Yeah, Callaway Akana is a player who's literally played every position on the football field. How do you see him fitting in defensively for your team in the coming years?
Well, I love him. When we first offered him, it was more as a wide receiver. I know Fessy loved him as well, and then he just kept growing and getting bigger. And when we went to one of his football games, man, he will hit you. He's physical. He's athletic enough to be a wide receiver on the other side of the ball, but he's physical enough to be a safety or a linebacker on defense. I think a lot of him depends on how he continues to grow. He just keeps getting bigger and bigger, but he has a super bright future here at BYU and then beyond. I mean, he is a very, very good talent.
Next question from Jay Catch.
Yeah, Jay, as you go about building out these recruiting classes, are you looking for, I guess, I call it an archetype or like a certain type of player? Do you have different things you're looking at different positions for?
Well, we for sure have measurables that we look for at every position. Ideally, you want big, strong, fast guys at every position, but the reality is football players come in all shapes and sizes. I mean, you can have, like a good example, you could have a D tackle like Aaron Donald that's 6 foot, 265 pounds, and he could be one of the best in the NFL, where most people want those guys to be 6'5", 320. They come in all shapes and sizes. And so what we have to do as coaches is decide how big do we want them, ideally, and are you willing to take a guy that might be a little better player, but he's not quite as big as you want, or he's not as fast as you want, but he's just phenomenal at everything he does. There's some give and take, and there's some experience that goes into that you need to have. Bottom line, we want the best football players we can get, and if they meet the measurables, that's a huge blessing, obviously.
And the reason I ask is because you have Antonio or TJ Johnson. He's 6'4". You have a safety right now in Falatau who's 6'4", 6'5". I just wonder, are you looking for tall dudes in the defensive secondary, I guess is lack of a better term?
Well, we want length in general. So I think at every position, the longer you are, as long as, assuming they can do their job, I think that's a good thing. You want long levered defenders that make windows smaller. That's a good thing. You want range at the safety spot. So that's one thing about TJ. He's tall, but he can really run. And he's another guy that could be a wide receiver. He's got great wide receiver film, and he can track the ball. He'll be a great asset to us in the secondary, just a rangy, long-levered safety.
Next question from Dana Green.
Hey, Jay, you've been in this state for quite some time. How have you seen the level of talent improve in the state of Utah? It seems like
it's on par with some of the other states. They're producing some of the best talent in the country.
Well, it's phenomenal, but we don't want anybody else coming in here to take them. So just everybody else can stay away. I think the biggest thing that's occurred is the coaching has got really good. The development continues to get better and better. We've always had really good players in the state of Utah. I just think they're getting developed a little bit better now. I think population increases have helped that. We just have more players playing in the state of Utah. But yeah, I think the high school coaches are doing a phenomenal job of developing guys and just having them ready to play. And the quality of person that you can recruit in the state of Utah, we in Utah have disciplined kids that are used to working hard. They're used to getting good grades. They're used to doing things right, and that usually in the long run correlates well to good football players.
Last question from Mitch Harper.
Yeah, Jay, I wanted to ask you about Adam Bywater. How is he similar and different than his brother, Ben?
Well, that's a fun comparison. I don't know if it's fair or not, but Ben was obviously a phenomenal player here. And we see so many similar characteristics. We see length, athleticism, physicality, so many of those things that we saw in Ben. Adam has. I think Adam's actually bigger at this stage. I think he has a tremendous upside, just as Ben did. We are so excited to have him, and I think he's a perfect fit here at BYU.
All right, that's all we've got time for. Thanks, Coach Hill.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.